Game Anthem Guide Beginner's Tips, Replaying Missions, How to Fly Efficiently Rock Paper Sh0tgun. March 1st, 2019/1:13 p.m. Anthem's had its first proper patch which addresses some concerns with the loot in the game, but the game has a lot more than just shiny guns and gear. As freelancers, below are some more focused guides on things like javelin loadouts, the best skills, and even some mission details. There are also some. Anthem seems to want to keep you from replaying many of the game's missions easily. Perhaps this is there are a couple of workarounds you may wish to try. Firstly, the other way relies on you having friends. While still in Fort, given that the game is a lot more vertical than its contemporaries, finding your objective in the various zones require you to know just how high or low you need to go to reach it. This is where the flying around in Anthem is one of the more exhilarating things you can do and is a great way to navigate around the world. That said though, Fort Tarsus is the hub area of Anthem. Here you can also have conversations with various NPCs in Fort Tarsus, progressing their stories and building on relationships. Sadly, in order to pull off the feats required to be an effective freelancer, you'll need a javelin. These are essentially. Finally, we've got some tips for playing Anthem for you. More of course will, and with that, our Anthem guide is done, for now. More guides are. As guides writer for Rock, Paper, Sh0tgun, it is my privilege to understand how to play certain games well, so that newer players can understand the more complex things about them. Please to reply. More of this sort of thing. Andreg. 2019. Today's Scotch egg consumption 54.58. Hive mind throbometer reading 0.274%.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot pot. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that. Looking up, open the park.